Hello everybody, welcome. This is Chef Rob coming from my home doing a cookie workshop for everybody. You're going to learn how to make delicious M&M cookies. Okay, they're really good. So please watch how everything is done here. I'm going to take a half of a stick of butter, so that is 4 tablespoons. I took this out a couple hours ago because I want it to be room temperature. Room temperature is going to make sure everything incorporates in the batter really well. Okay, I have some white sugar right here. I want 2 tablespoons of the white sugar. I want to shake it until it's nice and level. So I need 2 of them. Okay, then I want a 1/4 cup of the light brown sugar. When you're doing brown sugar, you always want to pack it in there. You don't want it loose. You want to make sure it's packed. You don't want too much. You don't want too little. So I'm going to take the white sugar, the brown sugar, and the butter and start just creaming this. Okay, you can use this in a mixer, or you can do this if you have some gloves, or you want to just use your hands. You can do it that way. But you want to make this mixture where it just looks like one batter. You can't see any sugars, can't see any butter. One consistency only. When you're putting the sugar in, whether it's the white sugar or the brown sugar, you want to make sure that you combine, you put in the right amount of the sugar that the recipe is asking for, because that will give it its moisture. If you put a little too less in it, it's not good. It's going to come out a little drier. So very important. Okay, just about all mixed up. Not a lot of butter, not a lot of sugar for this recipe. I'm going to show everybody what this should look like. Okay. Don't want to see any yellow in there. Okay, just like that. Now what we're going to do is put in some vanilla extract. Make sure you use the pure. So whenever you're using it, look at the front of the bottle and it will say the pure on here. The imitation vanilla, it's really like putting water in there. Make sure you take the full amount, and then you're going to put 1 egg in. The egg, same with the butter, I took out a couple hours ago because I wanted it to get to room temperature. Room temperature will make sure that it incorporates really well. Okay, since I have gloves on, or if you use an electric mixer, you can go in and just mash it all together really well. You're going to make these over and over again. They freeze well. If you can see, all mixed up. Okay, let's go on to our next step. Okay, so now we're going to put in the dry ingredients. Before you start doing that, make sure you have all the proper dry ingredients out, and then you have all the correct measurements. It will make sure everything goes really smooth for you. Okay, so you're going to take a 1/2 cup of the all-purpose flour, nice and level. 1 tablespoon of the all-purpose flour. Then we move along to the baking soda. It's a 1/4 teaspoon. Nice and smooth. You don't want too much in there. And then 1 of the salt. Make sure you just kind of level it. Make sure it's full though. Salt you always want to have in there. It will bring out all the other flavors that we're using today. You're going to take a whisk. Mix this up really well. Get all those dry ingredients combined. Now we are going to combine the wet and the dry. We just want to mix this until we see no flour left. As soon as we see no flour left, we know it's ready to put in the refrigerator after we add our M&Ms. So again, if you're doing this with a mixer, just mix it just until you see no flour left and then stop. Don't want to overmix it. Okay, looks like good, tasty cookie dough. Just like that. Now that the wet and dry ingredients are all mixed, we're going to add our M&Ms. But since it's spring, we're going to add spring colored M&Ms. Okay. All pastel. We're going to add a 1/4 cup to the mix. Mix this up really good. Now, since it's very soft, we don't want to shape this into cookies yet. What we want to do is put this in the refrigerator for about an hour, maybe even an hour and a half. Just let it get kind of solid. That way, when we cook it, it will come out the proper way a cookie should come out. So, let's put this in the refrigerator right now. We'll be right back. While the cookie dough is chilling, let me give you some baking tips that will make your baked goods come out very successful. Always make sure you have a little thermometer in the oven, okay? Make sure it's an oven thermometer, okay? Very important, because everybody's oven could be off 5, 10, 20 degrees, and it really does matter. One of the other things that you want to make sure is all your ingredients are at room temperature. It makes sure everything incorporates really well, and it'll make for a successful recipe. When you're baking your cookies, one of the things I like to bake it on is either parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. This is the parchment paper. This can take up to 450 degrees in the oven. So our recipe today is 375, so you have no worries at all. Okay? You can put it on the parchment paper or a silicone baking mat. Silicone baking mats, they're available at all the different type of department stores, online, everything, just like that. Some of these will last, you put them in the dishwasher for 20 years and they'll last, they're great. We're probably going to end up making 2 trays of cookies today. So what we will do is bake these, and halfway through you want to switch the trays around just like this, because up top the heat can make them a little too dark, and sometimes the cookies can get a little too dark on the bottom. So by switching your trays around halfway through the cooking, you're going to make sure the cookie comes out really good both ways. Now, I know a lot of us like soft cookies, right? So, the trick is, take a container, after the cookies have cooled completely, put a slice of bread in the container with it, and seal it up really good. What you will do is, the moisture will go to the bread where that will get very dry and the cookies will stay nice and soft. Okay? Works very well. You can always put the cookie dough in the freezer for up to 3 months. Even when it's frozen, you can take a very good sharp knife, okay, create a little ball with it, just roll it in your hands, put it on these little baking mats. They'll come out great. Don't want to defrost the dough. Okay. The other thing is, with this cookie here, I was showing you the spring M&Ms that I'm going to use. They sell the red, white, and blue ones. So perfect for 4th of July, Flag Day, Memorial Day, any time of the year like that. And then they always have, of course, the regular M&Ms. So let's check on our cookies. Okay, after having the dough chilled it took about an hour, which isn't bad. What we're going to do is take some of the dough, roll it into little balls, and just press it down. Just give it a little press. Now that it's cold, what it will do is it will take its shape in the oven. We want to put it in a 375 preheated oven. It'll take about 12 to 15 minutes. We should, with this recipe, get almost a dozen cookies out of this. You can double this recipe very easily. These are really good. They will last quite a while. If you like them on the fresher side, you can always put them in the microwave for about 3, 4, 5 seconds, something like that. It'll loosen them up, make them look really fresh. Now, it would never hurt to put extra M&Ms on top to decorate them. So let's do that. Let's put a few on each one. Just go around, use all the different colors just to make them look really, really pretty. You always want to make sure all the cookie dough balls are the same size, so they all want to come out of the oven at the same time. Okay, so these will bake in the 375 preheated oven right now, and they will be done in about 12 to 15 minutes. We'll let them cool, and then we'll enjoy some delicious M&M cookies. Okay, so the spring M&M cookies just came out of the oven about 10 minutes ago. We cooled them on a wire rack. And now, put them on this nice fancy plate. Get ready for entertaining in the spring. Put some peeps on there for decoration. Put some jelly beans around there. ready to go. Enjoy.